It's the final of the Olympics and it is Djokovic versus Alcaraz for the gold medal. Who is going to take it? The 37-year-old or the 21-year-old?
Well, here we are for another late night preview of the Olympics, and look what's happened. Novak Djokovic has proven me wrong for the 100th time, and he didn't just turn up against Lorenzo Musetti, he turned up and beat him relatively comfortably, and the Italian had no answers. It was straight sets, it was 6-4, 6-2. It's Djokovic's first ever final at an Olympics, so he can get guaranteed silver medal, better than he's ever got before. And things are looking good for him until you realise who he's going to be playing in the final in Carlos Alcaraz, the best player these last few months for sure. Maybe the best player of the year. Might have pipped Sinner by now, winning the last two slams. He's looked so good on the clay courts, was great on the grass as well. And it's looking like a really big task for Djokovic. The bookmakers have it as Djokovic at threes, Alcaraz 1.3 or something around that.
I think it's dropping, but yeah.
And I'm really excited because it is a big match in tennis. There's so much at stake, and we're going to get into it on this episode. But I guess we've got to start with the semi-finals. And with that match against Lorenzo Musetti, I know you watched the whole thing in its entirety. I was at a barbecue, so I was watching bits of it on my phone, and I got to see the highlights, of course, afterwards. I feel Musetti has had so many opportunities to really announce himself to the world as a player who can beat the best, and he just fouls time and time and time again. And I've got a little bit frustrated seeing the way he bowed out to Novak Djokovic again. And I'm not saying anything negative about his season, because he's had his best season of his career. He's young, he's learning his trade, he's getting better, improving, playing different styles week on, week out. But I think the level he produces against other opponents is always a lot higher than against Djokovic. And you just see so many different errors from him. The backhand going into net, going long, shanking them, a bit like Tsitsipas at times. We saw the moment on top of the net to break back Djokovic in the first set, where he was playing really good tennis in spells, hit it straight back to Djokovic without enough power. Like basic shots. And the only thing I can put that down to is not ability, it's his mental state. And there's something mentally blocking him from beating Novak Djokovic. Granted, he beat him at Monte Carlo that time. Was there another win he beat him? Or was it just the one? Just that one time.
Yeah.
But he looks like he can't handle the occasion of a Novak Djokovic. And credit to Djokovic, because he's still there. The knee wasn't a problem today. Completely shook that off. And yeah, he's got a chance, definitely. You can't rule him out ever.
No, rule him out at your own peril. I
think
thought
I've done that enough.
Yeah. I was very relieved, I'd say. There's more the feeling I came away with after the victory today, more than I was just blown away by the performance. I thought the first set, both players were incredible. I thought Musetti up until 4-all, 5-4 even, looked fantastic. I thought the way that he was really hitting with like maximum aggression, pushing Djokovic all over the baseline, hitting winners. The backhand looked amazing. And like you said, seems like to have an air of the Tsitsipas's about him, where if it's Djokovic down the other end, he tightens up in the big moments. He was 40-love up on his own serve, managed to lose the set from 40-love up on his own serve. I don't know how he lost 5 points in a row. Just, that's not good enough. I mean, you should be getting at least a 5-all there.
It's the moments it happens in. It's the end of the set. It's the most important moments when it matters on a break point, not making that shot. It is starting to become an issue. It's starting to be a bit like a Stefano Tsitsipas. And Musetti, despite having such a great season and beating a lot of players and travelling from event to event, it was in UMAG to Paris quite quickly, doing some great things, playing well. You're going to have to beat the top players if you want to be a top player. And he's got the ability, so it's frustrating. But let's speak about Novak Djokovic. It
Yes.
is the first time he's going for a gold medal.
Yeah.
And have you got some other ones for him? Here we go. So it's his first Olympic final and becomes the oldest singles player since 1988 to do so.
That's right. Yeah. I'm very excited for him just because he finally gets to play in a final at the Olympics. I feel that he should have really been in the final in Tokyo. That was the one really that if he had just avoided the doubles in the last one, I think he would have had enough steam to go all the way in that singles. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. He took on too much, bit off more than he could chew, let's say, and he ended up with no medals. So unfortunately, he didn't manage to win the Canada Slam that year either. This year, he's won no titles. So he's only focused on this and this alone. I'm super excited. That match against Musetti, it didn't fill me with massive confidence if he was playing someone like an Alcaraz, because he was in the second set really there for the taking. I think if Musetti had really put it all together, he could have maybe capitalised on the fact Djokovic threw his dummy out the pram a couple of times in that second set. He was arguing with the umpire. He had problems with his box as well. He got a warning for I don't know what he said. It was like when they say he was swearing. I don't know if it was actually swearing, but he said something that gave him a warning as well from the umpire. He lost one of his first serves, some time violations as well. There was a lot going on. He was screaming at the top of his voice all the time because he was so frustrated with how he was playing.
And what did Musetti do? Just stood there, bent over for him and was like, "Here you go, Djokovic."
He gave him the break back. Every time he broke Djokovic, Djokovic was given the break straight back in the second set. It's just that Alcaraz wouldn't do that. That's the problem. Alcaraz probably would have finished him off in that second set, and then we would have been going into a third, and you'd be thinking Alcaraz in the third's probably going to be looking like the favourite right now. I'm worried for Djokovic if he turns up and he doesn't bring his A game in this final, because I think he has to bring it, otherwise he doesn't win, and that's the big worry.
Important thing to know is the motives behind how important this is for Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
Let's not dance around it. It is
huge,
super, super important. At the start of the year, you said it's probably going to be the one thing he's going to target more than anything. He's probably going to prioritise this over Grand Slams, which I thought was crazy. And you can see it in his reaction where he was there laying on the clay court, sprawled out, the racket over there, and he's like he's just won a tournament, and that's just getting to the final. It means everything, because he knows that is the one thing which has eluded him, and he needs that gold medal to statistically be that guy who has everything. And there was a tweet I shared with you. Yeah, here we go. This is the image. This is a nice one. You can see, look, the racket miles away. This is the scene you usually see when someone's won a Grand Slam at Roland Garros, but this is just getting to the final. And when there is so much at stake and it means so much to him, sometimes that could be the downfall of Novak Djokovic. If we wind back to when he was trying to do the calendar slam at the US Open against Daniil Medvedev, that was that similar pressure going into that match. He was one set away? One match away, because he lost in straights, didn't he?
Yeah.
From getting the calendar slam, and he seized up the pressure, got the better of him. He was first to say that the pressure really took its toll.
I think Daniil played very well that day.
Daniil played well, but he didn't handle the occasion of how much it meant. Are we going to be looking at the same scenario again? This will be his last chance of an Olympic gold medal in his career, for sure. And he needs to do it now or never. And this is one match against the best player in the world. A lot of pressure. Can he handle it?
And somebody who we have to speak about, because I know that we've been speaking about Djokovic. This kid is just something unreal. I mean, he's playing in a semi-final, bear in mind, against somebody who's just knocked out Casper Ruud, who's just made back-to-back Roland Garros finals. And now he's just beaten Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-1, 6-1 to go into the final. I mean, it's one of the most one-sided matches I think I've seen all year. Felix didn't even look like he was anywhere near the same level as Carlos Alcaraz.
No belief. And I said it yesterday. He did not believe he was going to win from
Nope.
minute one. He didn't stand a chance. It was a walk-in by. And exactly like I said it, I did say yesterday he'd be very lucky to get 7 games. I overestimated it massively. I knew it was going to be one-sided. I knew it was going to be Felix not being able to challenge him. And that's exactly what happened. So that's now 12 consecutive wins at Roland Garros for Carlos Alcaraz. Unplayable at times against Tommy Paul. That was probably a better test of his level and where he's at, because you got to see what he can do on the run, being pushed around the court by a really fantastic player in Tommy Paul, and he was fantastic the other day against Paul. Djokovic has got his work cut out. He's the big favourite heading into this, and as much as I'm saying to Djokovic about the Djokovic scenario and how he's got a lot of pressure on him winning this gold medal, and is that going to get the better of him? Alcaraz has a lot of pressure on him for another reason, and that is being the big favourite. And he's going into this match with everyone in that stadium expecting him to win. The whole week building up to this moment, everyone's been talking as if he's in the final before he's there, and people have been talking as if he's got the gold medal around his neck before he's even got any medal. True. So I think if there is a quote, I don't know if you want to bring it up, about him being asked about this.
Yeah.
Because
1 sec, I'll find that.
That in itself could be the unravelling of him. But there's times when I think he can become a little bit too much of a showman in his games, where he's trying too many things to try and impress the crowd, and it's at his own detriment to his performance in a match. Of course, I would never want to discourage that. He's the most exciting tennis player to watch at the moment, and I love what he does. He's such a natural athlete. But I don't want him to be getting a little bit too complacent. You can never take Novak Djokovic as a light challenge. He's always going to turn up and trouble you. What happened at Wimbledon was very rare, in fact, in that final. You don't ever see that from him in a big match. I have a feeling this is going to be closer. And let's read it out here anyway. So he's the youngest men's singles finalist in 120 years. He said, I'm going to act like I didn't hear that, honestly. It's going to be a really special moment for me in my life and career. I'll try to enjoy this moment. It's going to be difficult for sure, but it's going to be special. I'll try to focus on myself. I'll try not to bear all of the fans and people saying I'm going to win. So he's there admitting that everyone keeps saying to him he's going to win. I just want to give my 100% of my best tennis. Hopefully I'll reach my goal to get the gold.
Yeah, not the old, like it says there. Maybe Djokovic is the old in this one. It's one of these. It's a poison chalice being this good, isn't it? Because everyone expects him to win. I feel like Djokovic, it does take a little bit of pressure off of him, and I think something that we've said in like past tournaments as well. Maybe it was even Djokovic coming into the Wimbledon final. We said he hadn't really been tested. Has this semi-final been at the detriment of Carlos Alcaraz's final? Because he's literally just walked into the... He didn't even have to do anything today. He just stayed in a rally, and that was enough. And then Felix went, long, in the net. Didn't have to do anything. Literally, it was one of the easiest matches I've ever seen from Carlos Alcaraz.
I would just look at it as if an extra day's rest from the Tommy Paul one. That's how it kind of felt.
Literally.
Like
He's had harder training session. He's had a harder training session. Yeah, it's harder training sessions out there than that match today. I mean, it was awful. It wasn't even much of a match to watch, to be honest. I didn't think it was... The crowd weren't really treated. The match this evening, much better. I think that was a much more competitive one. Knew it would be, really, I think, deep down, because Musetti seems to always give Djokovic, to a point,
it's not
a good
competitive,
match.
though. It's not competitive. Because what you see is a few good rallies and some great shots and moments from Musetti, but anything what's important or means anything, he's going to miss it. So it's never really competitive. It's like watching a film where you know the ending every time.
True.
Eventually, you can't be bothered to watch the end. You can't be bothered to watch the film. I mean, you might see some really good parts of the film, but you know what's going to happen in the end.
That's why I don't like going to watch films like Die Hard and stuff like that. I know people who are like, "Come on, come watch it with me." I was like, "Well, or James Bond."
Yeah,
I'll be like,
Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is not going to die. He's going to be alive. He's going to make it out the thing. And it's the same with
Yeah.
Djokovic. He's like Indiana Jones. He's going to get out of the tomb alive with his hat still on somehow. It's going to fly from one of the things and it's going to land back on his head.
I'd like him more as a James Bond than a Indiana Jones, but maybe your one's a little bit more dramatic.
I'm
with
sure
the,
Yelena wouldn't like that.
what, James Bond? Yeah, probably not. What's Carlos Alcaraz like? What's his movie? Let us know in the comments section which movie character is Carlos Alcaraz. Speedy Gonzalez. That's
I
about
think
the only
Disney
one.
Cars, the main character in that. I think he's the red car.
Probably quite a good one. He's wearing red all week this week, isn't he? Nice yellow shorts as well for Spain. There he is there. Not the happiest. He doesn't look there. Not a very good picture. I don't know why they've added that one there for that. Let's talk about both of their records coming into the final as well. Neither of them have dropped a set yet, which I think is quite an important factor coming in. It means they're both very determined in these matches to just get it done straight away. I said Djokovic needed to get it done in straight sets today. I still stand behind that. I think if he'd lost the second set, it would have been a real struggle, that third set, but he didn't.
Yeah, and Djokovic has had a pretty tough draw on paper. It could have been tougher playing, I think, Zverev today.
Yeah.
Got fortunate in Musetti, someone who he can beat. Tsitsipas, another one who he can beat, but still was a good player. Beating Nadal. Let's not skim past that. And Nadal was fighting back in that match. Never easy to do at Roland Garros. So I'm not going to say anything dismissive on Djokovic's draw. He's had to play some good players. Alcaraz probably had to play the best player in Tommy Paul, but apart from that, he's had a really comfortable draw where he's done it at a canter.
Yeah.
And we're going into this final with a lot of expectations from the tennis world because I think everyone is expecting a really good competitive affair. A lot of people are not expecting this to be like it was at Wimbledon, but they're expecting Alcaraz to win, but in a way which is going to be ultra competitive. That is the general consensus I've read online. Let me know, of course, your comments in the comment section, and me and Ben are going to give our predictions in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a look at who they both played just going through the tournament there. Alcaraz, like you said, he's had not that tough, only Tommy Paul really, and then Djokovic, much more difficult. I'd say Nadal, Tsitsipas, Musetti. If there was Zverev in there, would have been more tough, but yeah, got fortunate. Obviously, Musetti, it's weird, isn't it? He can beat Zverev in straight sets, but can't even do anything against Djokovic. It's doesn't make much sense in my eyes. But we got
tennis
a few more.
Maths never maths with Musetti.
Never. I mean, he's an incredible player. I think he does better against Alcaraz than he does against Djokovic, which is just crazy, isn't it? But maybe that's just the age of the players coming up, and he has a bit more of a fierce rivalry, I think, with Alcaraz because he's just a similar age group. We've got some other tweets here. This is one from Djokovic, a quote from him. I think this was this post-match, this one?
Yeah, post-match. He said, I don't consider myself a favourite on Sunday because Alcaraz has proven he is the best player in the world at the moment. He won Roland Garros, he won Wimbledon, beat me in the final quite comfortably there, reached the finals here without dropping a set. I mean, I did too, but I think the way he's playing, he's definitely favourite. And no one can really dispute that. Djokovic fans, Djokovic himself. No, maybe, but I think he believes it as well. What do you think?
Hard not to. I mean, he was the one who was on the receiving end of that hiding at Wimbledon in the final, so he knows better than anybody. If you've just won Roland Garros and Wimbledon back to back, you're probably the best player in the world right now. And now you're into another final at the Olympics without dropping a set. He looks really untouchable at the moment. I'm very scared for Novak Djokovic because I know it's his last chance for Olympic gold, and I feel like the only hope that I really have is that Alcaraz has a bit of an off day and Djokovic plays quite well, and that's what I'm banking on. I'm going to need something to Alcaraz to have one of those ones where he's looking at the box, like getting a bit worried, going like, oh, what's going on? Like a few forehands just go boom, shank off the top, and then he's just looking a little bit in disarray. Those don't happen for very long though with him. They're only little spells in matches, but if it's a close match, like a tie-break set, and there's only a one or two of those moments for Djokovic to capitalise on, and Djokovic's level can stay high enough, that's really all I'm hoping for. It's crazy to say that about Djokovic, but Alcaraz has really upped the bar this year on how good he is, and Djokovic isn't getting any younger, is he?
Do you reckon we're going to have Rafael Nadal in Alcaraz's box?
Ah, don't do that to me. I mean, if that happens, it could
It'd be quite
happen.
funny.
It could definitely happen because I thought it was quite nice to see. Obviously, David Ferrer's been there the whole week. Nice to see him with Rafa's son as well. Uncle David, probably known as. Yeah, really nice sights just seeing all the Spanish players together. Though it's been one of those sights that I've really enjoyed seeing over this Olympics, or like this first week. But Djokovic's got his own people in his box, though. You can see Victor Troitsky has been really screaming loud from that box, trying to give him some encouragement. And I don't think there's anybody other than his parents, maybe and family, that would want to see him win it more. Those Serbians really do stick together. So they've been friends since, well, they were little, those two. Right, a couple more tweets.
Mm-hmm.
This one from Vanch saying, the most successful career in the men's open era, Novak Djokovic will finish with at least a silver medal at the Olympics. He celebrated this one more emphatically than falling to the ground. We saw that one earlier. Yeah. This one, take us through this one. This is an Opta-Race stat.
Yeah, just before we do, something on that Vanch one is the fact that now he has made every single big final you could possibly make in tennis. So that is an achievement he was able to do today.
I've got another tweet for that.
Yeah, so by him getting to the final, it means I don't know if many players can say they've done that.
What,
surely not.
This tweet that you sent, I know it's in another.
Yeah,
language.
Here we go. So you've got all of the slams so many times, all of the Masters events, and if you go down, now also ATP finals and the Olympics as well. I don't know many players in history who can say they've made every single big match possible, and he's now done that.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
multiple times as well. Look at the numbers next to it.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that go into double figures. I mean, isn't it crazy that the ones with the most double figures are the slam?
Yeah. Well, what Djokovic statistically, for sure, no one can argue will go down as the greatest of all time statistically. If you look at just the books and the paperwork, the guy has the numbers to beat everyone.
I think those words and the choice of words is going to ruffle a few feathers. They don't like the word statistically.
He's the paperwork goat.
The paper goat, is that what I just heard there? How disrespectful.
Nice.
Well, anyway, let's move on from this one and onto the Opta-Race one, just for a few more stats. And saying Djokovic is the third player to reach the Olympic final in singles after having turned 30 since tennis returned to the Summer Olympic program in '88. Roger Federer did it in London 2012, lost to Andy Murray. Serena Williams in London 2012, and there you go, Novak Djokovic.
Did Serena win or lose?
I think she won. I can't remember that one. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure that she won it.
Okay, I
should
thought
remember
there was a bit
that.
Of a trend going.
I don't. I'm gonna have to have a look. Olympics women's tennis. So, yeah, because it was a big final. I believe it was a big final in that one. Let me just double check. Gold. Yeah, it was. So she beat. Yeah, it was Maria Sharapova. Yeah, okay. the big final as well. Those two come up against each other. So yeah, no trend. So don't worry, Djokovic. It's fine. You're going to say there's a men's trend now, I bet.
Yeah, only applies to the men's tour.
Only applies to the men's tour. Should we get into some predictions now?
Let's go for it. Let's get the image up.
I think we should.
You've prepared something special, haven't you, Ben?
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Here we go. So, I prepared
Djokovic
this.
Looks a bit scary here. Do you not think?
I think he looks eager to get this started, and Alcaraz is going, yeah, what'd you say? He's like, it's my gold. It's Djokovic saying a bit like Lord of the Rings or that type of style. Right, it's predictions time anyway. Tell us your predictions in that comment section. But let's have a little bit of preparation music, I think, to get us in the mood for there's going to be a long story, I feel, from my side at least.
Gold is on the line. It's predictions time. A gold medal on the line. It's predictions time.
Come on, Holy.
Djokovic or Alcaraz.
There we
I
go.
mean, I've never heard such biased music in all my life. I mean, is there supposed to be a prediction for Djokovic and Alcaraz? And all I heard was just Djokovic the whole time.
I'll show you the lyrics. Are
Are you sure that's not a Djokovic fan song you made earlier?
It omitted the Alcaraz name for some reason. I put Djokovic, Alcaraz, and it just was singing Djokovic. It must be trying to tell me something. I don't know what it is, but let's get stuck into the predictions. Let us know if you could, or if you liked that song or that in the comments section. I thought it was a nice fitting one. This is a very big moment. I feel like this is bigger than a Slam final. Because it only comes around once every 4 years, and it's the last ever we're going to see Djokovic in. So it is massive. Make sure to join us for the match as well. We're going to be covering it on Sunday. Let's get stuck into it, JG. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think it's going to go exactly the same way as Felix. It's going to be 6-1, 6-1 Alcaraz. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Hands up. Everyone calm down.
It's like the angry mob, but just...
Everyone get your inhalers out. It was only a joke. Right. Right, let me go again. Okay.
Right.
I think
Action.
Alcaraz is going to start very, very strong. I think he's going to take the first set 6-3. And we're going to see a really, really close second set with Djokovic up a break. Alcaraz breaks back, goes all the way to a tie break. It's going to be a great tie break. Really good quality set. Djokovic leaving everything on the line. He may be clutching the knee from time to time because it's going to be that long of a match and such a grueling one in this second set tie break. But ultimately, Carlos Alcaraz will win the tie-break, win the gold medal, and win in straight sets with one 6-3, the other 7-6. And Djokovic, the best he can hope for, I believe, will be a silver medal.
God.
Better than the first one, anyway, the Felix.
yeah. Well, if that's the scoreline in the final, I think I'll be crying. I'll be turning off, I think, before the end of the match. If it's 6-1, 5-1, I don't know if I can stand to watch the end. We know the head-to-head for these two, by the way. I know we didn't say it before, is 3-3. So whoever wins this one will go ahead on the head-to-head. Alcaraz won the last. Djokovic won the two before that. The only meeting on clay was won. The only meeting on Roland Garros clay was won by Djokovic. Obviously, the Madrid one was won by Alcaraz. So, my storyline, let's get stuck into it. They're going to come out onto the court. It's packed. There's not a spare seat in the rafters.
I'm glad you clarified they're going to come out onto the court and not play in the locker room.
They might start it with table tennis in the locker room. Djokovic gets the advantage there, and then they come out onto the court. They've got the Serbian flags there. We've got the Spanish flags. There's a bit of a divide. Alcaraz roaring.
That usually happens, Ben. There's a Serbian player and a Spanish player, so you're going to see both flags.
Exactly. See, I'm building the picture.
Is it going to be on clay as well?
It will be. Is the roof going to be open? Yeah, I assume it will be. But they're going to get stuck into the first set. Alcaraz, I believe, will start very fast in this. And I think it will be a fast-paced comeback from Djokovic. I don't think there will be any breaks of serve early, but I think we're going to get to around about the 3-all stage, and then we're going to start to see the cracks appear. And I've got a feeling that Djokovic is going to get the first break of this final, and it's going to give all the Serbian fans a lot of impetus to keep cheering him on. I think we're going to get to around him serving out for the set, and he's going to get broken back, though, by Carlos Alcaraz, and we're going to go all the way to tie-break in this first set. Djokovic wins the tie-break. He's one set away from the gold medal. Into the second set, Alcaraz He comes out like a man possessed, though. Djokovic doesn't know what's hit him. He's already 3-love down in the second set before he's even had time to blink. He's looking at his box. He's clutching the knee as well. They don't know what's happened. He's missed about 3 overhead smashes already in the second set. And Alcaraz looks like a man re-energized. He goes on to take the second set 6-2. We go into the decider. 1 set decides the Olympics. Is it going to be the youngest in 120 years? Is it going to be the oldest of Novak Djokovic? It's going to go all the way to the wire. We're going to be at 5-all in the final set. And then Novak Djokovic is going to break Carlos Alcaraz, and then he's going to get broken as well, and we're going to go to a final set tie break in the final set, a super tie break to decide who gets the gold medal, and Djokovic is going to take it by, I can't even think of a scoreline now, but I think it's just going to be Djokovic takes it. It's going to be tight. It'll only be a few points in it. I can't give a score. But that's my prediction.
And all Djokovic fans can now open their eyes, and the dream is over because there's going to be Carlos Alcaraz there, and he's going to be the nightmare. So forget your dreaming, what Ben's been doing and leading you down this garden path. The meditation time is gone, and we're back to reality. And the reality is Carlos Alcaraz, the best player in the world, is going to be there. Let your nightmares begin. Let's leave it there. Thank you everyone for joining. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and give us your predictions in the comment section below. It's going to be me and Ben head to head for another final. This one for a gold or silver medal. We also do have the bronze medal match taking place. Felix versus Musetti.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That should be quite close. You'd expect Musetti to win.
Yeah, those two, you never know. They'll both maybe try and throw it away. Felix will probably turn up again on this occasion.
Yeah.
I'll go with Musetti as well, though. I think he should be able to get the job done. I hope he does anyway. I think that he has a better future in the game than what Felix does based upon his mentality. But yeah, don't forget, this is not Roland Garros. This is the Olympics. Strange things can happen. Just because you're Roland Garros champion, Carlitos, doesn't mean this one's yours too.
Yeah, and Novak Djokovic may be the GOAT right now, but the mini GOAT, the future GOAT, is coming. Watch out.